The time for talking is done. Manchester United versus Tottenham in the Europa League final. The game is upon us. United and Spurs in Bilbao now, and we await kickoff in what is both teams' biggest game of the season, unquestionably. It's probably United's biggest game for years, given the context around their season, given they're 16th in the league, given a place in the Champions League is at stake, given their financial troubles that are very, very well documented, given the squad overhaul that needs to happen over the course of the summer. They need to correct course. They need to get back on track. And although winning this game will not fix everything, it will certainly help a rebuild that inevitably is going to come this summer one way or another. But it could decide which transfer targets end up joining, how much money they can spend, how many players they can shift on, how many players they can bring in. And the speed of this rebuild will be greatly aided if United manage to win the Europa League. And I'm going to be looking ahead to it just briefly because this is a bonus episode of the Promised Land podcast. Please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube as well. And follow me on social media at @_Scott Saunders. We have had news today. I'm recording this on Wednesday. If you're listening on Thursday, then fantastic. I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope that United can come back with the trophy, like I say. But we had some surprises in United's team news going into this game, and massive, massive surprises as well. Leny Yoro in the travelling party is able to play. Diogo Dalot in the travelling party is able to play. Matthias Dalot not able to play, unfortunately, but only him and Lisandro Martinez are the two players that are missing for this game out of the entire first team squad, which is some going. And that's because Joshua Zirkzee has turned up after his injury. He's turned up, he's on the plane, he's out there, he's in training, and he's ready to play a part. His minutes might be limited, but I think all of these boosts coming very timely, in a very timely fashion for United, and it gives them a hell of a lot of options going into this game. And I have looked ahead earlier this week to what I think, or what I thought United would do with their 11 going into this game before we knew of the team news boost that we were getting. So obviously I didn't know about Dalot. I thought Yoro would end up making it, but Zirkzee is certainly a game changer if he's able to play any sustained amount of minutes. I think he had a hamstring injury, didn't he? So you have to be careful. You don't want him to get injured again, but you do need to bring him back because this game is so pivotal for United and so pivotal for them. So I'm going to be looking ahead just briefly, short show on this one, to what I would expect United's 11 to be, what my concerns are, if they go certain ways, what I think United should be doing, where I think they can take risks. And I did, like I say, run through this earlier this week. If you subscribed on the channel, maybe I am repeating myself a little bit, but just with some slight differences, given the differences in team news. But I'll be looking ahead to what I think United will end up doing. I could obviously be wrong, but I'll be looking ahead as well to maybe the difference in mood between the two camps. I think there has been some interesting stuff coming out of the Tottenham camp and the way that they're reacting to, being at San Mamés and being in a final. I think that there's some differences in how the two teams are expressing themselves, I think. And there's a difference in the mood between managers, Ange Postecoglou and Ruben Amorim. Amorim and Bruno having a bit of a joke about whether he's under pressure or not. Came across a little bit weird, but in the end, it was a bit of a joke and quite funny. So, I think the mood in the United camp is positive and focused. I think these players, a lot of them have been to a Europa League final before and lost it. Harry Maguire missed that game against Villarreal in 2021 due to injury, and he will be there tomorrow. He will be there on Wednesday night. And there's a lot of players who will be looking to right the wrongs of that night. And a lot of these players do have tournament experience or experience in winning finals as well. So that could maybe stand them in good stead. Anyway, what will the team be? I think there's no question Andre Onana will start in goal. Fingers crossed he doesn't drop any clangers. That's the most important thing. Just a safe pair of hands on the night. No errors. I don't want to be talking about you by the end unless you're saving a penalty in the penalty shootout or something like that. You make a miraculous save in the 90th minute. That is the only way we should be talking about Andre Onana after this game. But interestingly, moving forward now, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Leny Yoro is thrown straight in. Now, he's been injured in the short term, but I think not enough time has passed really for him to have lost that much in terms of match sharpness. And I think he makes a big difference to what United are looking to do. So I think Yoro maybe starting left centre-back, Harry Maguire in there as well. And maybe I do like Nusayr Mazraoui as the right centre-back. With Diogo Dalot back, I think Amorim trusts him. I think I could probably see him starting at right wing-back. And I think maybe having him in that position, as much maligned as he is, as he has shortcomings in his game, but he has been quite solid. I think he's probably a safer bet to play in that position at right wing back, and I do much prefer Mazraoui as right centre back as well. So maybe that's the lineup that we'll see. But obviously, there's the options of throwing Luke Shaw in at left centre back, or Aiden Heavens back in the squad as well. Victor Lindelof is in the squad as well and has been playing some minutes recently. What do they end up doing? They have options. That's the thing. And I'm running through what I think Amorim should do, but obviously they need to manage the minutes of some of these players that have just come back from injury. The reason why I shipped out Luke Shaw from that back three is because I feel like in a final, I do have long-term concerns about Luke Shaw actually playing left wing back for a sustained period of time because he doesn't really have the energy. But I think with it being a final, with Patrick Dorgu's performances maybe being a little bit up and down, he certainly offers a good option down the left side, but his delivery isn't perfect. And I think if you've got lots of options around you and you can mix things up, and you've got Mazraoui, and you've got Yoro, and you've got Maguire in there, you've even got Lindelof if you want to start him, and you've got Dalot. I think maybe, and this is what I would do, I would maybe push Luke Shaw to left wing back in this game because we know that he has a lot of experience playing in finals. I think he played left back for England in Euro 2020 and scored, or maybe even left wing back for England in Euro 2020 and scored in the final of that game against Italy as well. He has big game experience. He's really, really, he's had a lot of injury problems, of course, but I think the maturity is a really, really important thing on this night. And I feel like you might get a better job out of Luke Shaw just in the short term anyway, even if it's for 60 minutes or whatever, and maybe you can tuck him back in as you shuffle things around as you go, and maybe Dorgu, you can bring him on and later on, either on the right side or on the left side with extra legs, a bit of extra pace, and a different outlet that United could utilize. I think it's super important for me that United don't fall behind in this game, especially early on. So I'm looking at bringing players in with experience, knowledge of how to manage situations in finals, and just experience of not knowing what to do on the day, not getting caught on the ball in silly positions, for example. And I think Luke Shaw maybe is the right choice for that left wing back slot. For me, anyway. I don't know whether Ruben Amorim will end up doing it, but I think with Yoro's reintroduction to the squad after injury and Diogo Dalot's reintroduction to the squad after injury as well, maybe those two will end up starting. He definitely likes Dalot. So that's the back five that I would go with. I said on the day that I last recorded the podcast as well and looked at this, I said I would much prefer maybe Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro as the midfield two. If you're looking defensive minded with the right wing back and the left wing back and using actual fullbacks in those positions, and you've got Casemiro, who is an absolute must. I don't think he's ever lost a final. Touch wood, this isn't the first time that he does, but I think his form recently has been fantastic. Big game player, can decide matches from set pieces. He has to be in the team. And I feel like with the options that Tottenham don't have in midfield, your James Maddison's being out, your Kulusevski's being out, your Lucas Bergvall's being out as well, that creative element that Tottenham had from that midfield area, they don't have those options. So I think they're going to get a much more workmanlike midfield in there. Pap Sarr maybe starting. You've got Bentancur and Basuma as well, who are, especially in Basuma's case, quite mobile. Difficult when he's on his game as well. And I know he's had a bit of criticism from the Spurs fans of late, but he is a player that has proven it in the Premier League over the past few years and has proven United problems as well. But they don't have that extra creative spark out of those players. Maybe that comes back to bite me, and maybe they do find something from somewhere and they go different with another player playing in the number 10 role. But I think the expectation here, maybe what Ruben Amorim is thinking here, and what Ange has said, maybe he's going to be looking at sticking to their guns. He's got his favourite back four in place, so you'd imagine Tottenham will push up. They'll try and bring the pressure on. And maybe that's what Amorim is expecting. Will the dynamics of playing in a final make a difference? I don't know, but certainly we'll see that part of Tottenham at some points in this game. And you think if it's going to come, it'll probably come early on and come in the first 30 minutes, because getting ahead in a game like this is super, super important. And Tottenham know that as well, because they fell within 30 seconds in their last European final to Liverpool to a penalty, and they spent the entire time chasing the game. So that's not a position that you want to be in, falling behind. So I would imagine Spurs will come out of the blocks pretty aggressively. And United will have to manage that. They'll have to play around them. And I think that is why I would go with Bruno Fernandes in that 8 role from the start instead of Mamadou Ugarte. Mamadou Ugarte has been favoured in recent fixtures in this competition just to keep a solid base. But I think you can see his limitations on the ball, and having Bruno a little bit deeper, especially with the options he's got further ahead of him, is really important. And I think that's where I'd utilise Bruno Fernandes. So let me know what you think on where he should play. Anyway, Amad is my preference in the right 10 position, because I feel as though at some point in the game, you can maybe bring the option in of Amad playing right wing back. It definitely adds an extra dimension to United's attack. But in a game like this, in a final, I think it's probably more important to keep things tight and make sure that your defensive head is locked on, rather than trying to, from the very beginning anyway, trying to overload a team with such an attack-minded wing-back, especially before the team is ready to kind of fly with that. Ruben Amorim's only had like 7 months or whatever it is. So I do like Amad in that right wing-back position, but I do have some concerns about the underlap from the likes of Udogie on that side, and the way that Tottenham would work their situations in that area of the pitch, especially if Amad was the one defending those situations. So I think Amad's probably better utilized for me in the right 10 from the start in this game. And Mason Mount is the way that he's played into form, the way that he's played minutes, the way that he's built his minutes up since the injury problems that he's had, the goals he's got recently as well. I think it's important that he starts the game. There's obviously the option of Alejandro Garnacho, but I look at him and I think off the bench, probably his pace is best utilized. And there is obviously an option as well. If Tottenham are going to play a high line, then maybe you do need a player like that from the start. But we'll see how it goes. I think it's Mason Mount for me he's played his way into the 11. Amad, I think, is the best option for the right 10. And then the big thing here is, like, I would not imagine Joshua Zirkzee is ready to start this game. I really wouldn't. If he's fit enough, that would be maybe what I go with. But something tells me I don't think he will be ready to start the game, and maybe he's a better option to come off the bench. So some people have suggested starting Garnacho through the middle or somebody else through the middle, because they've looked at Rasmus Højlund and thought that United are carrying an extra man or carrying a man. And there is that. We've seen it. It's not working out for Højlund, but I outlined it in my last episode as well. I think the option is there. I would stick with him from the beginning. If it doesn't work out, then you always have the option to change it. And the last thing you want to do is start a player like Joshua Zirkzee before he's ready, and then end up having to substitute him after 20 minutes or something like that because he wasn't ready to start the game. For me, it's probably a bit smarter to, and I'm very much speaking here based on my assumption of Zirkzee's fitness. If he's fit and ready to start the game, and they feel like he can start the game, I probably would go with that, simply because he has the ability to hold the ball up far better than what Højlund has been doing, and it will help United get up the pitch. So we'll see. It really depends on fitness for me. And at the moment, that's the 11 I would go with. But, the good thing is United have a hell of a lot of options off the bench. I've already run through the defenders, but Garnacho is a potential difference maker. Tired legs. He has really good pace. He keeps going. And as much as his delivery hasn't been there on all occasions so far, he is a potential difference maker. You do have the option to push Bruno Fernandes further forward if you need it as well, and bring other players into the pitch. So that's the big thing. I think as much as United they've had an awful season. They really have. And Tottenham have as well. But at the same time, I'm looking at the two squads going into this, and I'm looking at how United's injury situations have cleared up. And I think the fact that they do have a lot of depth and the match experience of playing in finals plays into their hands. Some people making Tottenham favourites, some people making United favourites. There's definitely reasons you can make cases for each of those teams being the favourites. But I think United what I would like to see is a professional performance out of this United team, because there are players in that team that have simply played in big matches before, bigger matches than this, like Champions League finals, this kind of thing. and they should know how to deal with an occasion. And that's being professional. It's making the right decisions. It's slowing the game down when you need to. It's making the right pass or the right interception when you need to. I think experience will really count in this game. I think United do have that in droves, and that is an important thing to cling your hat onto. And they do have options off the bench to change it around as well, more than Tottenham do as well. But I think you can, anything can happen in this game, and United certainly aren't playing well enough for anybody to really come out and say confidently that they will win this game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it unfolds. But it's all about not making errors. It's all about staying tight. It's about staying in the game. It's about making sure that you make the right decisions. It's about taking your chances when you get them as well. And I just wanted to contrast before I rounded this off. A bit of a shorter episode, obviously. I wanted to round this off with just the mood between the two camps. I think there has been, just in like some of the videos that I've seen of interviews with the Tottenham players and the supporters and the attitudes of, look, it's a final, everybody should go and enjoy it. But I feel like, and maybe this is just an observation from me, I feel like United's players are going into this, and the message is we have not been good enough this year, and we need to win this game simply because it's a final, and we have not met standards. And this is a final that we have to win, and it's still not good enough. It's still not good enough. So the least we can do is go into this game and show our true selves and deliver on the day, because the fans deserve it as such. And I think that message has been constantly banged home by Ruben Amorim, by Bruno Fernandes, by Harry Maguire, by all of the players that I've really seen. I think the attitude in the camp is they're going into this game to win. And I'm sure Tottenham are too, but I'm seeing lots of chat about like being in the state and being in a final and like this being a big occasion. I think there's a slight difference for me. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. Maybe I'm trying to talk myself up and hope that this is the case and hope that this is the way that it plays out. But I think demeanors and the way that you manage yourself, the way that you express yourself going into games like this, I think you can tell a little bit. And I think I've seen United win finals over the last 2 years. So it gives you a little element of confidence that they can go and deliver again. And while that's the case on United's side and that's the case on Tottenham's side, you then do have Ange Postecoglou in press conferences. He's been dubbed a clown, and he reacted to that almost unprovoked, really. It showed that he was pretty conscious that he'd read a piece that had been written about him just about 6 hours before or whatever it was, and he didn't take kindly to that. Maybe that's the drive that he needs in order to get through this game, and maybe that'll work in Tottenham's favor, being written off so strongly. But he's cut a bit of a prickly figure ahead of the game, and there's some Tottenham players that are relaxed. But if we're looking at who's more relaxed and who's more confident going into this, I would probably give the edge to the United players. Look, it doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day. What happens in the game is the most important thing, and you can be as confident and as calm as you like, and then make an error in the first 5 minutes and the game completely changes. We have seen that when United fall behind, it's invariably quite difficult for them to get back into games in the Premier League. They have Premier League opponents. They've lost their last 3 games to Tottenham, and there are definitely some suggestions that Tottenham can win this, but it's all about getting your head in the game, performing on the night, and making sure that this team delivers, because that's what Manchester United simply have to do. They're not there to make up the numbers in games like this. They are there to win games like this. And simply put, they have to win it, because you know, as well as I do, the consequences of if they do not win it. That doesn't bear thinking about. In about 24 hours time, 26 hours time after I've recorded this, then we will know the extent of how bleak it's going to be, or how much United have managed to save their bacon a little bit. So look, if you're out there and you're listening to this, enjoy yourself, have a fantastic time. Thanks for your support throughout the entire season. To everybody who has listened to this podcast or subscribed to it, or comments on it, gets in touch with me, I really, really, really appreciate all the support. And let's hope that United can go on and win this game, the Europa League final against Tottenham, and bring that trophy back to Manchester. But subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Follow me on social media at _Scott Saunders on X, Instagram, and TikTok. This is the Promised Land podcast is on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify as well. You can just give a quick search of the Promised Land and Manchester United podcast on any audio provider that you would like or that you use if you prefer, but also get me on YouTube as well. I'll be doing more YouTube content throughout the summer. So please subscribe to the channel. Plenty of transfers to talk about, I am sure, because we all know that United need a big old rebuild. It's just this game will probably decide how aggressively they can go at that and what kind of transfer targets they'll end up signing and which ones they might end up missing out on if they don't win the game. But anyway, this is the last time I'll be speaking before we know what the result is. Fingers crossed United can get through this game and win it, and we can just have some kind of sweet relief from the absolute misery that has been this season. Until next time, everyone, thanks so much for your support. Thanks so much for listening. Come on, United. Come on, United, and thank you very much.